Smirking in her mugshot, this mother is charged with attempted capital murder of her two daughters. Police say she confessed to getting high and then trying to drown those girls in a bathtub, but their brother and a neighbor rescued those little girls. Fox 4's Phil Alvarado spoke to that neighbor. Phil's now at the Dallas Police Department with more. Phil.
Heather, this is a man who's a father himself. He says that when he heard the girls screaming for their lives and then saw them being brought out of their apartments soaking wet, he says he just didn't have the heart to just leave them there crying.
I grabbed both of the sisters and I brought them in here with my kids because they were both soaking wet.
As a father, Donald Metcalf couldn't bear to see the 4- and 6-year-old sister screaming at the bottom of the stairs. Worse than the screams.
She was like, my mom sat on me and tried to drown me in the tub.
Metcalf wouldn't believe it if he hadn't been outside and heard the screams coming from his neighbor's apartment in East Oak Cliff. You wonder what Sonia Gardner was thinking, even later, as she appears to smile in her mugshot. In Gardner's arrest warrant affidavit, police say she told them she smoked marijuana laced with PCP earlier in the evening. The sisters were rescued by their 18-year-old brother, Jadesman. After he brought down the younger sister, the door was locked behind him.
So he kicked on it and kicked and kicked and kicked. And finally he got in. Then all you heard was, "Give me my sister." Then the gunshot was fired.
Police say the shot was fired into the ceiling. The girls told Metcalf this happened during their bath time. The affidavit says the girls told police their mother said to them, "We're fixing to die," and tried to drown us in the bath. And the reason, police say, is because Gardner was upset because the children were asking for snacks.
It's a hard time for our family. We don't really understand why this happened, but at the same time, it never happened before.
But a woman who says she's a cousin says Gardner was struggling.
She knows she needed help. She needed help so bad.
Dallas police say in the affidavit that before Gardner attempted to drown her daughters, she tried to burn them with an iron.
One of the neighbors looked inside the apartment and heard Miss Gardner yelling that she was sorry for trying to drown her kids. Both children were found soaking wet, and the children both admitted that that she had tried to drown them.
After rescuing his sisters, the older brother disappeared. Police say he has a warrant for a probation violation. When he left, Donald Metcalf and his wife cared for the girls until police arrived. The Metcalfs have 6- and 7-year-old daughters of their own and left with questions they can't answer.
My kids go to school with her kids, and my little girls were like, "Are we going to get to see them again?" And if I could just straight tell them, I would, but I couldn't bring myself to say, well, they're gone because their mother tried to drown them.
Now, the family moved out of that apartment later this afternoon, and they told us that they're done talking about this. You have to believe that they're hurting over this, too, trying to understand how it could ever come to something like this, Heather.
Well, sure, they're hurting, but you feel so badly for those little girls. So Phil, everybody wants to know, how they're doing.
Well, Sonia Gardner has actually 3 daughters, a 13-year-old who wasn't home at the time. Child Protective Services has placed all 3 of them in a foster home until there can be a hearing to determine exactly where they're going to live. As far as Gardner is concerned, she is in jail, charged with 2 counts of attempted capital murder, and that we know that she worked as a hostess at Love Field.
All right, Phil Alvarado, thanks much.